We do have the brand new 2023 Chevy Colorado. It is genuinely brand new. This is the total refresh.
Yep.
The last one was around for a long time. All of these mid-sized pickups are getting a refresh right now. We liked the last Colorado quite a bit, and in fact we put it with the Tacoma and kind of liked it better.
Yeah, we did. Well, this truck is all about the engine. This is an all-new engine. It's a 2.7 liter inline 4, specifically designed for a whole lot of boost. And this engine has actually been previewed before in the full-size Silverado. It's gone in other cars. I'm sure we will see this engine pop up for a long time to come, because this has been designed and engineered to be a high boost turbo engine. The lower grades do not get as much turbo boost
It's all the same
as
engine,
this
though.
one does. But right now, this is running 20 pounds of boost in the Trail Boss Edition, which we've got. But then they crank it up, which cranks up the torque output in the ZR2 and Desert Boss. That goes all the way up to 27 pounds of boost, which is a whole lot.
In either case, on this upper level trim, the Trail Boss and up, you get 310 horsepower. Of course, the one you're talking about, it's like 430 pounds.
430.
This has only 390.
390, yeah.
390 is still a lot in this.
good.
This is just under 5,000 pounds. This has an 8-speed auto married with it, and I have to say, the big highlight for me is this has much more power than you expect. And it has it earlier than you expect. In fact, off a stop, this to me feels like a diesel.
Oh, because
it has
of the torque.
that kind of instantaneous kind of rumble and takeoff that you expect in a diesel truck.
I can see
but
that.
Then it has, obviously it revs higher because of course it's a gasoline engine. But I am quite surprised by how, and I do mean this in a good way, how like old school diesel feeling it feels. But yet we're trying to do a modern truck, which is mainly evidenced by brand new styling and totally different interior. It's a revolutionized interior from pretty much the whole segment, and of course certainly the last Colorado. They've got, you know, all new screens. The screens are bright and beautiful and crisp and all that kind of stuff, which is not really the reason you buy a truck, but it is the reason you buy a modern vehicle.
Great cars, great roads, and all the reasons we love to drive.
Road trips, comparisons, test drives, and podcasts. This is Everyday Driver.
This, being the Trail Boss, is a new trim. It's like off-roady goodness on a base level truck. Is what they've
on
done.
a budget.
It's like, and as a result, we're right around 40 grand here, which on one level feels like a lot, but when you think about it in modern trucks, it's not that bad.
Now, you don't get the amazing Multimatic shocks. You don't get those dampers. But what's cool is you get a 2-inch lift on the Trail Boss, so you've got 9.5 inches of ground clearance,
and 3 inches
which is
wider
a lot more.
front end.
You get the wider track, which is great, and this still feels incredibly capable.
Absolutely.
I mean, you would have to be at the extreme edges. Well, you would need Baja mode, which we don't have. You can get up to 5 modes.
We need Baja mode.
We don't have Baja
I cannot
mode
believe
because
it doesn't exist on this
we
truck.
didn't pay for it.
I guess not.
We didn't buy. You got to pay more for the Baja mode.
But it says Trail Boss. Shouldn't Trail Boss have Baja mode?
But then there's Desert Boss, and that has the Baja mode because it's more and better. And we don't have the shock. We don't have the running gear to support Baja mode, so they didn't give it to us. But still, it feels incredibly capable. I did stick it in 4x4 high. Even though on this dirt road, any modern car could probably do it with one-wheel drive. So you don't really need 4-wheel drive on this. But I'm aiming for the potholes, really, to feel the chassis, because the chassis is all new in this truck. And it really is about, you know, does it feel well built, well screwed together? Is it a good truck? And we've got some good potholes here. You can get some chassis flex going,
Yeah, well, you can actually see, I was noticing you can see the bed move independently of the rest of the vehicle, because of course this is body on frame, so that's how that's happening. I mean, there's two ways to look at this. On one level, this is not any kind of daily commute vehicle, even though I know it will be bought and used that way.
Sure.
And when you think about it in those regards, it's not great. However, I did think about this. I think this rides as well as the new Frontier, which we like a lot. And I think rides better than the Tacoma, the outgoing Tacoma, which was just really punishing and had bad ergonomics if you used it as a daily. This is off-road capability, but it doesn't feel punishing when you put it on a road. It feels very taut. It also, that's the other thing I'm surprised by, it doesn't feel like loose and wallowy. It feels stiffly sprung, and so it's gathered up. But of course it's a truck. You've got a truck ride still. But in this world, oh, look at that. In this world of mid-sized trucks, you want to drive a truck daily, I think it actually is doing pretty well. You really want me to hit the mud.
Mud. Let's get muddy.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. See, that got under the windshield too. Look at me. And I wasn't even trying hard. That was like mini mud.
See properly muddy.
Yep. There we go.
Okay, good. Now it's a real pickup.
Okay. Now you feel like we've done our job?
I feel like we've done something.
We've done investigative journalism now. We got it muddy.
If you're looking for a Colorado or any off-road or pickup, you need Autotempest.com to search all the car listings and even research dealers. Autotempest helps you search nationwide across all the used car sites, including Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. Plus, you can get email alerts so you never miss a listing.
We use it to research for our podcast, to search for crazy road trip cars, and just because we like to dream. And Autotempest can even help with new cars, pricing out the options and getting local dealer quotes. So if you're looking for this new Colorado or the prior generation or any Chevy truck, Autotempest.com/everyday can get you the help you need. Autotempest. All the cars. One search.
I think for what it is, they've done it very well. There are shortcomings I have for it, but I think for this market, Chevy has done a good job on the Colorado update.
Okay.
There's just stuff I'm not a fan of, and we'll get there. We'll ease our way in. Yeah.
I'm mostly liking it right now. This thing feels robust, and I think this will be used more off-road than a full size. I think if you commute or do just highway driving, you buy a full-size truck. If you're serious about off-roading, because this is more nimble and it just feels like it's a little bit more ready to get muddy and dirty and kind of go play, because it's just easier to maneuver, even though the size of this truck is like what full-size trucks were 20 years ago.
It does seem like that, and I will say that the exterior of this feels like this is the size trucks should be.
Yes.
And then I get in the back and go, no, it needs to be bigger. And then I look at the bed and go, no, it needs to be bigger. So I want trucks to be this size, but for the full usability that you want, you actually do need the full size if you want to have like a lot of bed storage and you want to have like big back seats, which this does not. Now, the Colorado only comes in crew cab, so it only comes in the 4 doors at these seats. This segment of the market, the seats are kind of all the same in the back, and that is there's just enough leg and headroom, but the backrest is incredibly vertical. I'm always sitting there like this.
Yeah, most trucks.
And that's true across the board. That's not just a Colorado thing. Yeah. So that is a problem. Can I talk screen for a second?
Shall we talk screen?
Let's talk screen. This is a really interesting mix of technology in this truck. Chevy is very excited about the screen, and since you've just changed the fan speed, I'm going to point something out. I love that the HVAC controls are buttons and knobs, but you realize there's no numbers. When's the last time you were in a vehicle where the temperature was not available as a number? This has lighted amounts on both the fan speed.
That is rather old school up there.
Isn't that interesting? I can't remember the last new vehicle I was in that did not have an exact number come up on the screen or somewhere when you change the HVAC. The precise degree that you have. This just shows you with a light. Where are we on temperature? Oh, we're away. Oh, that's as hot as it goes. Oh, over here, we're as cold as it goes. Same thing with the fan speed here.
More or less.
Yes. But you can just see the little lighted piece on the dial that shows you where you are, which is very old school. Underneath the, hey, have you noticed our super bright, first in its class Google screen for the mid-range.
11.3-inch screen, which I actually appreciate. It's not a huge screen, but it's still big enough. But we've talked about in the past about features that are buried deep in the menu. And why are they buried so deeply in the menu? And that is the headlight switch. There is no headlight switch to turn your lights.
There's no knob or stalk or anything.
Nothing.
Tactile.
It's in the menu. So let's go here, lights. And it is the first thing because we're talking about lights, but it's all deep in the menu, which saves money. Doing it in the screen, because screens are cheap for car manufacturers. OEMs love screens and doing it like this because they're so inexpensive, and building this in, they don't have to build an extra part. But you think about it, there is the argument, which we've talked about, and that is most people leave it in an auto. But when you just need to turn your headlights on for some reason, you can't open the door and lean into your cab and just turn your lights on.
No.
We need some light right now. No. You have to start, well, now you got to put your foot on the brake because you got to start the engine.
Sure.
It will not appear. This menu will not appear without the engine running. So that means you have to sit down in the seat, then push the button, and then it'll illuminate, then it'll come to life, and you can turn on your headlights. But that's a lot of extra steps.
Sure. I mean,
just flip on your lights, man. Just turn on your lights. I can't because it's a menu item in the screen, and it's not my fault. Just turn on your lights, man. Just reach in your car, turn on your lights.
I also thought...
I can't. Imagine that conversation.
Further proof that they are expecting everybody auto is if I do this. If I hit off, it tells me it will go back to auto when I restart the car. They are absolutely planning for the way we all use vehicles, which is I don't turn on my lights ever anymore. And look, this is where I am old school. I actually like, it's dark, turn on the lights. It's bright, turn off the lights. But because everybody has daytime running lights and then automatic headlights, look, I will give GM credit for reading the market. I don't like that this is this way, but they have properly read the market, and I think this is how most people will use it. And so in that regard, I get why they did it. And to your point, it is cheap. Here's the thing about the screen that surprises me. This looks great. Looks very nice. I think it looks very nice. I'm actually very impressed with the seats. I thought the seats would be crappy, and I actually think the seats are pretty good.
They're less crappy than you think.
No, the front seats are good. They've got good support. The back seats are bad, but the front seats are very good. For having this really nice screen, if you dig around a little bit, there's not much content behind it.
No.
It's pretty content light. It looks like, wow, there's like a big brain here. Not really. We've got a few features on a really classy screen. That is the place where they've saved some money. It's like all the money's in the screen and there's very little money in the brain. There's not a lot going on here. You're going to want to be, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, which still exists. GM has said that they are going to kill those things and go all Google, which people are raging about. This has all the Google capability, but it mainly is good when you go Apple CarPlay.
But doesn't it make you feel good that, well, it's got tech in it? It makes you feel like you're at home, and it does have the Google search item and navigation.
They've integrated Google, and this is the first in this part of the market segment to have all the Google Assistant, Google Play stuff, and that's very cool. But just there's not a lot going on here behind the screen, which is very funny.
Not really. Okay, let's talk about style. I like the new updated style of this. It looks really good, especially in the higher trim levels, because better wheels, a lot of nice looking trim pieces. But I do like that pretty much the whole front end is blacked out. And the style is very aggressive, and I think this style works well on a smaller truck scale. I do like what Chevy has done here. And Stowflex, let's open the tailgate. And there is now, Chevy is very proud of this, storage in the tailgate itself. It locks. It makes it so it can't open while you're bouncing
latches. It may have a lock signal and claim that it locks, but it has two latches.
But it is watertight. It's just not big enough for really anything. Chevy shows marketing materials where you've got jumper cables and some gloves and a saw.
Your fishing pole will fit, and maybe your hat.
Okay, so I get that. For small items like that, but otherwise they're going to be in the cab. But Honda did this years ago with an actual giant lockable trunk. But then there's a ruler on the lip. So you can measure your fish.
You can measure the everything,
Plop it up there.
Your lumber. Sometimes you got to get stuff done, right? I will say that now this tailgate itself is lockable. So if you have the tailgate locked, then theoretically you can't get it down, get into your lockable storage. But the storage is latchable, and the tailgate is lockable, and the storage area is it's a good effort. This does have like old school big four-wheel drive running gear, which is nice, but the Ridgeline doesn't have that, which is why this doesn't have a trunk going down below. So this is a heavy-duty off-roader. I will give it points for that. It also means it runs two-wheel drive, which I actually like.
I do appreciate that.
Two-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, which is very nice. Actually, something I've always liked about trucks when you're not needing to be hardcore. So that's all very good. It does tow 7,700 pounds, which is a lot.
You have to have the higher
just about the most, but this one will as well. So that's a lot in this market segment, actually.
Agreed.
You need to drive it.
I'm excited.
Okay, good.
Trucks.
Good.
Got a nice step on either side, so you can. It's molded into the bumper there, so you can grab onto something and get up into your truck bed. And two wheel well slots for your motorcycles in the back wall here, which is kind of cool. So a lot of little nice touches around the truck. And I agree with you. I like that this is two-wheel drive and the shift lever has not gone away. For this 8-speed transmission, also Chevy tells us that this entire unit has been moved over. So it's actually closer to you, the passenger, than it is to the driver. And I appreciate that, because mode's first, then the lever. But I like that the lever has not gone away and it's not just a rotary knob.
And they've moved the cup holders here to just in front of the center console. They used to be way over here by the passenger. You have to reach around the shifter. So
it's a better design.
They've figured out the ergonomics here much better. I do like that. Are you enjoying your indicators on your dash there about roll and pitch and everything else that's happening, even fun. Steering angle?
That's exciting. That is nice.
My favorite part of the press materials on this truck was the quote, the actual quote from one of the engineers who said it is a lifestyle enabler. This is what you did with the Colorado.
Did the lifestyle exist already, or is this introducing you and enabling the new lifestyle that you aspire to?
I think the answer to that is yes, all of the above.
Okay.
If you have a lifestyle that involves off-road, we have a Colorado. If you'd like to have that lifestyle, we also have a Colorado for you.
Isn't the mud over here?
Yeah, it's going to be on your left side here in a minute.
There's some mud coming up on the left.
So you can see if you can make the left side match the right.
Well, I'm going to try.
I know you are. You're going to try harder than I did, I'm certain.
We'll see about that. Ooh, how about this?
Yeah, I know. See, that's what I said. Now we can't even see.
We can't even see.
I like it. Yeah, there you go.
That's the issue. Well, I can kind of see.
Problem is you got to run the wipers now, and we got a camera mounted.
What a great truck. At least it's muddy.
Uh-huh.
Look, I like this truck because...
I love that we've got to stop the review because you got too much mud on it, and we can't use the wiper.
Darn it. Look. The cool thing about this engine, ooh, that's smeary and gross, is that it's V8 power in a 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
Let me give you perspective, and that is my Expedition has 310 horsepower out of a V8. 5.4 liter Triton V8 with 360 pound-feet of torque. This has 390 in a 4-cylinder, in a much smaller package.
You get marginally better gas mileage.
This is pretty bad, isn't it?
Not like lots better gas mileage. You get marginally better gas mileage, so your gas mileage will improve versus having a V8 with the same power.
Yeah.
But it's not like we did a 4-cylinder and that gave you efficiency. It depends on your usage. And the lesson for us is be careful of mud when cameras are mounted to windshield. That is the lesson. You're going to keep dog driving this, aren't you?
That's right.
That's good. Excellent. I like it.
Ventura coming up.
Yeah, there you go.
Who knew that would happen, right? This thing's awesome. Hey, listen to the turbo whistle. What can we get up to?
Safety first.
What's my speed?
That's us. Safety third.
We're good, huh?
Uh-huh. Well, you can just look at your heads-up display there and see how much roll you've got in steering angle.
Can't use the wipers. Darn it. At least it's interesting.
You should stop and we can fix this. This has devolved into terribleness. All right, use the wipers. Hang on, peel that off. Just leave it running. Peel it off.
Okay. Do you want me to leave it here? I'll leave this stuck here. I'll leave it running.
Yep. And hit the wipers.
And
I'm going to back away.
Yeah, back away.
Oops.
And now you can stick it back on. We're still running.
Agreed.
Still good.
Yep.
We're good, huh?
Okay. We had to have a brief pause and stop so that we could actually work with the camera and the windshield wipers so Paul can, see again.
We're good.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It was important to get muddy.
Yeah, you had fun. I'm glad you had fun.
Now I feel like this is a proper truck review. Because,
okay, good.
Like I said, you could take a Camry up this road and it would be just fine.
It wouldn't like the mud puddle.
It wouldn't like the mud as much.
So
this likes the mud.
It was perfectly happy in the mud. This also has a limited slip differential, which I appreciate. This
cool.
model does have it. I mean, this honestly, in 2-wheel drive on the highway, drove better than I expected. It's still a truck. It has a truck ride.
It's still very much truck. The leaf spring truck thing.
I think it's competitive with the Frontier, which we actually really liked.
Do
you really? Okay.
I do.
All right.
It's good, but I still think the Frontier's better.
This feels a little taut and athletic on the freeway versus like lopey, which I'm not a big fan of. But of course, it has that buzz and that vibration that is understandable in all of these trucks. We're not a big fan of that. In fact, I don't like it at all. But I do understand that people want to buy a truck to use it on the weekend, so it can be their lifestyle enabler.
Yeah.
And then they have to drive it during the day and during the week. But you do have 7,700 pounds of towing. That's a lot in a truck that's not that big.
This thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little trucks are mighty now with a 4-cylinder.
Yes.
7,700 pounds of towing, which is ideal. Now this comes with 18s. You can go all the way up to 22s depending on what you want and the package. But the tires themselves, they're still 32s. That means they're really well suited for doing some serious off-roading. That is clearly what this is aimed at. Yes, there's a commercial aspect to this, and you can tell because of the engine, the base engine. It's all the same hardware. It's really just a tune. Yeah. That's all it really is to get into the higher torque levels, is just a tune, and that is very impressive. The fact that this engine will take that punishment and that generates that kind of power and torque, that is the best news of all about this thing. I mean, that it's like Chevy does the Chevy V8. Now they do the Chevy i4, right? I mean, it's in that same
pitchforks have just
Chevy
come out, Paul. People have lit torches.
Block. It's half a small block, right?
Yeah, let's see if this actually can get the reputation of the Chevy small block, because this is not that.
It's not.
And they have that
it's
history,
certainly not, but it's
and they
got
have a lot of fans of that
power.
world. It does. It has surprisingly good power. In fact, consistently when I put my foot in it, I was like, this has got a lot of power. This just kind of power. It doesn't feel like it weighs nearly 5,000 pounds. It just takes off. And I do like that kind of diesel style instant torque off the line. There's definitely a lot of power here, and that engine is much better than it sounds when you look at it on paper. You're like, I don't know about that. Oh wait, that's fast.
Yeah, it even sounds good.
It's good, yeah.
Turbo whistle, and you won't be embarrassed anymore that all you've got is an i4 because of the amount of power it makes.
Yeah, fair.
And you can go splashing through mud puddles.
You can. I mean, you got to make sure your wipers are clear to work.
Got my truck muddy.
Yeah, you did.
Feeling like we had a good truck day.
Yeah, we did. You can use 4x4 mode.
Don't
Telling
have
you,
to.
you did all the stuff.
Oh,
boxes checked.
One last thing. This doesn't telescope. The steering wheel does not telescope. It's kind of bugging me.
Well, what's interesting is, back to the tech thing, they've done a good job with tech of making this seem more expensive than it actually is. Things like no telescoping wheel, things like this passenger seat is not available with any kind of power at all.
It's just the
how thin the actual brain is behind this screen. There are definitely cost savings, which keeps it down to that 40 grand, even though at first glance, like, oh, this is kind of a high-end truck. It's not a high-end truck. It is a good truck.
See, there's even...
So horses and cows.
Horses and cows.
We really are out here.
And off-roading.
Okay. So the horse is frightened of the cow?
The horse is a little spooked.
The horse is frightened of the cow, even though I would think that the cow is the reason the horse is out here, is to corral said cow. Horse is like, I don't want to do my job today.
Seems confused.
This is a bad day for me. We need the cow to move.
Move off the road. That's right. He's smart. We're all good.
At least we have fun.
Everybody's good.